Welcome to Retro Video Playback and to episode 25 of Tape Talk Tuesday. Today I'm taking a look at the cult classic from 1996, Swingers, on VHS.
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
A couple of episodes ago, I took a look at Old School on VHS. In that episode, I discussed movies that Vince Vaughn had starred in and appeared in after Old School, so after 2003. In response to this clip on a couple of different platforms, I received some comments questioning the absence of Swingers, despite the fact that Swingers came out 7 years prior to Old School, and as I noted, the discussion was focused on movies after Old School. That aside, I decided that doing an episode of Tape Talk Tuesday on Swingers was warranted, and also because I just happened to come across a copy of Swingers on VHS at the thrift store just 1 week after that Old School episode, so it was meant to be. There are a couple of iterations of Swingers on VHS. While a different version than what I have features a front cover with a solo Vince Vaughn with a martini and the movie title appearing on a matchbook, the version I have here features both Vince Vaughn and Jon Favreau, which makes more sense to me as Jon Favreau is the primary character of the movie. The black background also feels more appropriate for the movie than the yellow background. Both versions appear to have been released in 1997, but this particular version was printed in Canada, which could account for the different style. But for all I know, this version was also made available in other parts of the world. At the top of the Swingers VHS cover is a quote from New York Daily News. It's a first wives club for guys. So this isn't a reference that I understood, but in looking it up, it's a reference to a Bette Midler, Goldie Hawn, Diane Keaton movie that came out just a few weeks prior to Swingers. Now, I watch hundreds of movies a year and I've legitimately never even heard of First Wives Club, but I suppose I'm also probably not the target audience for such a movie. Just a couple of days before the making of this video, I actually came across a copy of the movie at a thrift store. Perhaps I'd seen it before, but my eyes had looked past it as it wasn't a movie I was familiar with. Looking into First Wives Club a little more, it appears that it was the 11th highest grossing movie of 1996 in North America, which is pretty good considering it only had 3.5 months to earn at the box office in 1996. Meanwhile, Swingers is way down the list in the 170s. Even with that, I don't know that it has the same staying power as a cult classic the same way that Swingers does, but again, I'm not a middle-aged woman, so what do I know? Maybe it has a massive following and I'm entirely unaware of it. I assume that what the quote implies is that the way Swingers is a guy's movie, First Wives Club is looked at in the same way by women. Maybe I'll eventually get around to watching it and finding out, but I'm in no rush. Below the quote is a slogan for the movie, cocktails first, questions later. This is followed by the main cover image featuring Vince Vaughn with a martini and Jon Favreau with a cigar. Just below them, much smaller, is Heather Graham laying in a red dress and matching heels. Below the primary image is the movie title in a retro atomic style. The front cover is closed out with a second slogan, Get a Nightlife, serving as a reminder of how popular the saying Get a Life was back in the 90s, right along with other sayings like Take a Chill Pill. As nostalgic as people seem to be these days for the 90s, I personally don't miss them. The top and spines of the Swingers VHS features the same movie title from the front cover. The spines also contain a couple of movie studio logos making their first appearance in 24 episodes of Tape Talk Tuesday, Alliance Video and Miramax. We then have VHS, Hi-Fi, and stereo logos. The backside of the box has the same yellow background as the front cover of the alternate version of the VHS that I showed at the top of the video. Atop the yellow background is a pretty symmetrical design with a shot and a quote in both the top and the bottom with a write-up in between. The top third has a shot of the friend group the movie focuses on and a very generic quote from Entertainment Weekly, a terrific comedy. Lower down, we've got another shot of Heather Graham in her red dress, this time adorning sunglasses, next to a quote from the Los Angeles Times, hip and funny, also a pretty generic quote. In the middle is the write-up, hip and hilarious. Critics and audiences alike are raving about this must-see comedy hit. It's the laugh-out-loud look at a fun group of friends who spend their days looking for work and their nights in and out of Hollywood's coolest after-hour hangouts. When the lovesick Mike can't seem to shake a relationship rut, his smooth, fast-talking buddy Trent decides he'll do whatever it takes to show Mike a good time. Whether laughing over martinis in smoky cocktail lounges, or searching for beautiful babes on an outrageous road trip to Vegas, these young swingers are determined to rewrite the rules of dating in the 90s. Honestly, this write-up doesn't feel super reflective of the actual movie. It makes it seem upbeat and fun, when really it's got a lot of pretty low and depressing moments. The bottom of the backside contains the production credits, copyright information, logos, and a 14A rating. The tape is the very boring style we saw way too much of in the late 90s, where zero creative effort was put into the design. Swingers is the epitome of the 1990s, or a certain place and part of the decade anyway. As such, it's perfect on VHS. At the same time, being such a well-made movie, it holds up on Blu-ray. As we can see, a very similar design was maintained for the Blu-ray that was released about 12 years after the VHS, with some minor changes like the color of the movie title and the positioning of some of the quotes. With that, we find ourselves at the end of our discussion of Swingers on VHS and the end of episode 25 of Tape Talk Tuesday. Thanks for watching Retro Video Playback.